So here's an update on the 82 Mako 250. I got the carburetor ultrasonic clean. Should be in good working order. Hopefully don't gotta mess with the jetting. We'll mess with the fuel screw, air screw mixture. I got to get a gasket for the bottom here for the bowl to the actual carburetor. But besides that, everything works really well. Got the choke working good. I'd eventually like to learn how to replate stuff, make this look like new again. I do have a new intake boot where goes the reeds. This one is cracked and weather checked right where the clamp goes on. I was just messing around right now to see what clamp placement would be the best, because this being at the top hits the choke, those two screws for the choke, and if I remember right, you could reach through from the right side of the bike pretty easy to reach this. I usually like the clamps being up top, both in the same orientation, so you could just not have to jump to the other side of the bike to mess with the screw. To loosen the clamp if you need to tilt the carburetor to change jetting or whatever. But I don't know. I don't mind this just because it's not rubbing up against other parts. Got to get some new hoses, new intake hose. But besides that, I'm pretty happy with it and making progress. So I got a new seat as well for the bike. I reupholstered that. You could say I stapled on this is an all new base, all new foam, all new cover. Next time I'm out in the garage, I'll go over that and show you what that process was. All right, so here we are. I'm onto the case. Gonna sand this down, make it all nice and shiny. Try to get rid of all these dings. Barely take any metal off of that. I got a new rub block to put on there. I don't think this is good. Looks like at some point lost half of the bolt and the nut, so see what I could do with that. Might end up trying to weld something. I don't know. I'll have to think about that a little bit. I got to get a new shifter. So this one is broken. Here's a shift lever. Sandblasted it. I'm gonna paint it black. I went through and tapped the threads, got a bolt on her. I was thinking about sandblasting this and powder coating it black as well, but I figured I'd just clean it up. Got it rebuilt, took the spring out, took the ball out. Snaps really well. Get some new tire wire on it, make it look a little better. But I plan on using this bike, so that's why I don't think I'm going to go into too much depth with cleaning all this stuff up. Then eventually one day go through and do like a full restoration, but till then I'm just trying to get this bike to where I can run it and have fun with it. So I'm having problems with trying to find neutral on this engine. Every time I go to shift this gear selector for the dogs just jumps over. I understand this plate's supposed to be on there. I just took it off. Even with it on, it just doesn't want to jump. So my guess is considering this is covered with grease and dirt and nasty shit. Somebody tried taking this the detent off, lost where it was in the gear sequence, and thought it was an oil drain. So I think I'm just gonna try to take it apart, the cases, and figure this thing out myself, because the bearings don't seem to be bad. There's no play in them. I don't know what is acceptable for this crank for in and out. I know that this side gets pressed together for the inner race, but that's as much as I know. And I don't want to wait for somebody to try to get this engine back to me when I feel like I could figure it out. But yeah, I'm gonna try taking this case half apart. I'm gonna have to take this suspension mount off. Hopefully this thing, like in the book, just pulls apart. I shouldn't need any case splitters or anything, so let's go from there. So, started to get it apart. I just very lightly tapped on it with this ball peen. Put this rag here as a little cushion. Just working it along. There we go. She is split. I got this thrust washer right here. Comes out, goes behind this inner shaft. In the manual, it tells the thicknesses of each thrust washer and where it should be. And on the assembly process, I could take you through that. And I need to get a set of feeler gauges, just so I know exactly where everything goes. All right. This main bearing does not look too happy. Has a little bit of rust on it. So it's a good thing I'm taking this apart. I was kind of scared to in the beginning, because I thought the bearings were all good. But this far into it, yeah, you can see all this rust. That's going to be on the bearing surface too, so it's a little eerie about doing this, but I'm glad I am. And then there should, they said on 250s, it has these magnesium spacers to take up the void, because the bottom ends are the same from the 490 to the 250s in this year. And then in between these two halves should be a little rubber gasket, and there is. Heck yeah. Got another shim right here. Thrust washer. There should be two. The manual says there's two right here. Huh. Just one. It's kind of weird. It has a weird bevel on it. Keep that on there. I don't understand why it's having such a hard problem with this. Trying to find neutral. I'm guessing this one is. There we go. Then this should be first. Yep. Hell yeah. All right, let's put her back into neutral. Perfect. Making good progress. My pull in the manual now, it says to pull this this detent out. I'll be able to pull the gear out, or the shift dog plate, and then I don't believe I should have to take the gear out, but for cleaning purposes probably should. And then also, I don't have it with me, I'm gonna need a flywheel puller to pull this assembly apart, and the crankshaft should just pull right out through the other side. But so far, so good. Try to look into these gears a little bit and see if I can find anything that's messed up. So far, they all look in really good shape. So, alrighty. So, I just took a look at the manual, and so far where I'm at, everything is good. It says to take the shift rod pin out. This goes into the hole. Then this side goes to linkage. To take this out, I gotta figure out how to get this spring off of here. So in the manual, they have a small little spring tool. I don't want to damage this. Well, committed now. So there's only one way for this flat piece to go, and that's this way, so it could hook onto the gears. I don't know why this thing doesn't want to. I think the detent is in the wrong spot, but got that. Now it says this left side should be able to pull apart. I do not have a mallet, of course. So, I don't know, get a couple pieces of cardboard or something. as you guys seen, this jug was stuck on here, so I imagine this case half is going to be the same story. So I got to think about this for a second without having a mallet and figure out how I'm going to get this thing apart without damaging anything. Alright, as you guys can see, I got the flywheel or whatever, the stator, rotor off here. For this bike, it was a fine thread, or sorry, coarse thread, not fine thread. And this nut is opposite thread, right hand to loosen, left hand to tighten. Came off real easy, luckily for me. And it was just these 3 Allens here to get the electrical system off the bike. This magnet's catching on everything. But yeah, it's going along pretty good. Put that all together, don't lose it. This crank should hopefully come out now. Should just pull straight out. Just like so. And here's the inner race of the bearing that's in the case. Got this rubber gasket here. It's a good thing I'm probably going through this bike, just because all this rubber parts and bearings are all, you know, old and weather checked, and I don't know the last time the bike was even ran, so that doesn't help its case at all. Need to try to keep this side with corresponding side. I don't think there should be any fitment issues. I imagine they're the same casting for both sides, but just to be sure. Hopefully I could read the letters on all these bearings, and there's a bearing shop down the street from where I'm at. Get some for a lot cheaper than buying straight from a motocross or dirt bike store or something like that. And it'll be for the same bearing. So I'm gonna clean some stuff up and I'll get back with you. Alright, so I got this seal pulled out, the main seal. It was bad. It was deteriorated. This thing's hard as all get up, just ripping apart. And judging by the outside of it, it looks in pretty good shape, but it's a good thing we're going into this, so we don't have to deal with any problems, engine burning oil, what have you. And then I use my screwdriver impact, got the 4 Phillips loosened up. That way I could see the part number on the bearing, so I could try to get everything I can before I start disassembling this, all the bearings out of here. I want to make sure I could get all the bearings before that. That way I'm not scattered and have parts all over the place and whatnot. So I got to do the same with this cover, and probably the same with this side. I'm not sure yet. I imagine I could just press it out the one way. I don't know why they'd have it on both sides. Maybe just for their machining purposes, but so far, so good. Somebody put this bearing to where you can't read it. If you're gonna press bearings into an engine, press them into where you can read the part number. Somebody pressed the part number into where it bottomed out, so that's no fun. Anyhow, let's get this cover off of here. Now I'm pretty sure this isn't factory. Somebody made a little trail to get lube or oil, you know, two-stroke down into the bearings, because that's not a, I want to see that being factory, them having to grind that in. This bike, I did get a hold of Mickey Diamond on Instagram, and I asked him if he ever rode a 250 and 82, and he replied back, yeah, 250s and 490s we rode. And like I said, this bike has the AMA tag on it still, and I don't know, it's hard, I can't prove it, you know, but all the trails lead to one place, you know. Probably help if I turn this the right way as well. Ooh, that's no good, that's no good. Stripped her out. Huh, now I'm gonna have a lot more fun. Alright, so now I gotta figure out how to get those screws out, because they must have been Loctited. It ended up just bending the tip of my brand new Phillips impact driver. So there's always one fun thing, never goes too easy. Anyhow, I'm gonna try to get these gears out of here. I need to get a 19, and of course all this kit goes up to is 18. Why wouldn't it? Hopefully this is deep enough. I'm going to be removing the detent, which is this bottom one, or the one on the drive side. Have to get the impact on this. The manual specifies if this is worn out in any way, replace it. I'm not seeing any excessive wear on this. Looks pretty good to me. Got the detent out. And then it says to get this washer off of the counter shaft. I'm gonna try to keep it with it as long as I can. It says to take this gear off with these two washers. I'll take the bearing off, put in between. There's a washer behind that keeps this gear from sinking in all the way into this gear. That way neutral works. So I'll put this face down. Says to pop this one off. Put it over here, face down. Put this over here, face down. All right. Now we got all those out. Here's the manual that I'm looking at. It's an actual Mako manual. It says to take, lift out and remove shift fork guide. The hole is facing to the left side of the case. And it says to remove first gear. We already did that. Now, it says to remove these. I don't know what to think of that yet. So that goes right there. Now I believe this shaft should come out now. Trying to leave a gear behind. Just like so. This is for final drive. So I got this one. This is it says 5.2 on it. This is in the center, facing back towards the back of the case. So that went on this gear, like so. And then I have this one, which I don't know how I feel about it. It looks like it got hot. This is 5.2 as well, but the way I'm reading it, looking into the case, is 1. That went just like so. Pull this gear out of there. Ooh. Some damage back in there. Got a thrust washer on. Oh shoot. Back. This bearing went here. Or just kidding. Going here. And I just lost a thrust washer somewhere. Here it is. On the front of this. gonna try to keep the orientation of this correct. And that one was just like so, so it came out this way. The hole was out. Keep these gears together. So, yeah, something's gone wrong in this engine before, this transmission. And I don't know, to look into the manual real quick, make sure this is in the right location. Pretty sure I remember seeing teeth having to line up, but I'll get back to you guys once I figure that out, and then we can start cleaning the cases and hopefully get some bearing numbers. That way we can start pressing bearings in, get the cases back together. I might send the crank off to get micro balanced. I'm not sure yet. I'd like to do that just because these air-cooled engines seem to vibrate like crazy. So I don't know. We'll go from here. See how long it'd actually take to get that back if I send it out. Alright. So I ended up taking this bolt out that holds the gear for the shifter plate in place. It has another washer on the inside of the case so this doesn't rub. And then I kept this in the same orientation when it came out, and it has 1, 2, 3 open slots for the gears on the left side, and then I rotated over to the right side and it has the same 1, 2, 3 open slots. The manual, this is where I get nervous working on these things, because the manual doesn't specify, or at least doesn't make sense to me. It says, note the dot on the shaft segment gear must line up with the second slot. And I don't know what it means by that. So I don't know. I don't see any dots anywhere. I don't know what slot they're talking about. I don't know if, damn it. I don't know if maybe there's something not looking at well enough or what, but that's how it came off. So now that we've gotten this far, I have a ultrasonic cleaner. I'm going to throw this case half into it, since all this old exhaust, two-stroke oil, and grime from over the years has been building up. Try to get this case as clean as I can. This is heated and it's a dual frequency. I just got this off eBay. It holds about 5 gallons. Pretty good unit. It cost me, I think it's like close to $300, but it's well worth it. I'm able to fit case halves into it, and cylinders and multiple carburetors all at once. I got this case half cleaned up. You can see I'll do an after, but throw it in there. It's really hot right now, so get that in there. This one I just had in. You can see it's a little grimy still, but I'll be able to get a lot of this off with a brush now that it's loosened up. But here, I'll start for you. It has 2 different frequencies. I have it set for 25 minutes and I'll put it on turbo mode. Let it do its thing. So here's the case as it comes directly out of the cleaner. You can see it still has a bunch of this buildup on it, but it'll come off pretty easily. See how it's just bubbled? It's a little too hot for me to touch right now or hold, but it really gets into the spots that you can't reach as well, which is awesome. I'll get this thing scrubbed up and show you what it looks like here in a second. I'll probably have to put it in for another time, but it really gets it into the pores, since this is a cast piece and it's really hard to clean. Yeah. All right, it's a couple days later. I got the engine all apart and cleaned. Check over here. I ultrasonic cleaned the case halves. Turned out really nice. Got all that two-stroke grease, oil, dirt mix taken off. I need to put all new bearings in. I ordered all new bearings, all new seals, a new Wasner piston for it. This one is a 6776 bore. The cylinder had nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with this piston, but I'm going to be sending the crank out to get a new rod put on it, and you need to send the piston with it to get it balanced. So I'll get that Wasner piston, send this crank out, have it rebuilt. It doesn't have any play in it, but I want to get it micro balanced, and I've gone this far with everything else. Might as well go into this. Ordered new clutches, new locking tabs, these shift forks. This one is all blued and really bad. It's not gonna shift too well if I were to reuse that. So ordered all three new. These two, which go onto the right side of the case, have wear on them. This one is in good shape. This is what it's supposed to look like. This one has wear on it as well, but I figured order three new ones and then have whatever mics out to the new ones, keep those as backups. But the ones that I'm getting are used as well, but should be in better shape than what these are. Ordered all new needle bearings. There's probably nothing wrong with those, but the clutch did blow up and it got, you know, chunks of debris everywhere. The final steps that I need to do is press these bearings out. I was able to get those screws out of the case that got stripped. I brought the case half over to my buddy and he TIG welded. It was a Phillips head onto it and we just screwed it right out. So luckily didn't have too many problems with it. All these other parts look good. You got carburetors, ultrasonic cleaned. Got moisture in the bag. I need to figure something out with that, which is funny because I blew it out with an air compressor. But this is for 81, 490, 81, 250. I got the carb for this in its box. And this is what I was talking about with the powder coat on the studs. Just lazy people working. They masked everything off, but that little section right there, I don't get it. And then on that engine, I'm gonna have to tap some threads out because they're lazy and didn't mask them off. So I'll take you guys through the seat cover now. And then on another note, this is a DT1 filter. They still make filters for these Makos, which is really cool. This is a third layer for sand. I'm not really worried about the horsepower loss of having this extra layer because I'd rather keep the bike safe, and also I'm probably not going to be able to handle the potential of the engine anyways, compared to the suspension. So if any of you are looking for filters, DT1 makes awesome filters. I have multiple bikes besides Makos, and this is just a 2-layer. I've never had problems with them, but I've also stayed on top of them like you're supposed to. So any of you looking for filters, there's an option there. So here's the bike. I got Mika bars on it. I run these bars on all my bikes. I'm really happy with the seat cover. Turned out really well. Lined up perfectly. Letters are square. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I got to do 2 more of these seats, so I don't know. Leave a comment if you want to see me upholster or put together one of these seats, how I did it. I just watched a quick video on YouTube how to do it, and it wasn't too hard. So in other words, got this 81 490 frame welded up. It was broken back here. The same buddy I had get those bolts out welded that up for me. It was broken in half there, so it's a lot better than it was. Actually get use out of it. And then down here we made a new tab for the exhaust, the pipe, because the other one had been repaired prior and was welded horribly. It was sticking out like half of it, and it looked like bubblegum welds. It was horrible. I got a new swing arm coming for this bike as well because it's tweaked over a little bit to the right, looking from rear orientation of the bike. Yeah, still waiting on suspension as well. It's been since Thanksgiving I sent it out, and it's taking a lot longer than I had hoped. It is wintertime here, so I'm not going to be able to ride it, but I'm trying to get this build done as soon as possible so I don't lose interest, and it's a lot easier to put things back together sooner. You know how they go. I have other bikes to look at, but you know how it is. It's a lot easier to roll it around in the shop with the suspension on it as well. So then that's that 81 250 frame over there. That's going to be getting the black plastics, and I'm going to be powder coating everything black on it. Besides the frame I'm going to keep red, but everything else I'm going to black out, anodize black, what have you. So stay tuned for that. Walk you through all these other bikes. 83 490. That just needs the suspension gone through. It sat too long and it leaked the nitrogen out of the shock. The shock cone is gone and the forks are leaking. Jump over to this KX 500 99. This is one of my favorite bikes, really. I got all these graphics and plastics on it, and I haven't ridden it since. It's been probably 4 years. I had a problem with it in neutral, or hitting a neutral spot. I was going through a set of whoops, and I thought I broke the chain, but something weird has gone down in the transmission. It didn't make any grinding noises or anything, but my hope is that clip has just come undone, or maybe the nut for the clutch basket has walked off. Anyhow, just because parts are discontinued for it. It's a 92 WR500. I just recently bought this bike. Waiting on a bunch of parts. I have a bunch of parts for it. It has a leaking head and base gasket on it. So I have a new head gasket, but I'm waiting on the base. Got a lot of parts to clean it up, new plastics. I bought a set of graphics off of eBay, but I don't like how they are. The finish is not the same as far as the brightness in the graphics. It's just a dull finish. 04 YZ250 and 2012 YZ250. I'm actually going to be sending cylinder off to Millennium to get bored out to 295. Waiting on parts, power valves for that cylinder to send off, and I'll be getting that to them. But that's kind of a walkthrough of the bikes that I have here. I have more bikes that are not at my house. Oh, and then 03 KX 125. I have a full replica build that I'm doing on this. Just waiting on parts for that. I'm going to be sending a cylinder off. I got extra to Millennium when I send that other one off, and then I could go through the engine and get the frame powder coated, and I already have 98% of all the parts. I gotta send the suspension off to get coated, and I think that's most of it with this bike. That and the powder coat. So stay tuned for more content. As I do this a little more, the video should get better. But yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching, and y'all have a good day.